Silent Night is a new action film directed by John Woo. And if you know John Woo, he is very well known for his realistic action approach, and it is most of the time really present here. So the action in this film doesn't really disappoint. But before I get into the rest of the review, I will give you a brief explanation of the plot. Now, this film follows a man who loses his ability to speak and also loses his kid during a crossfire. That is the plot. Seems simple, right? You have seen a lot of movies with the same plot, but this film does something different, and I can guarantee after I saw it, this film was trying to offer something new into the genre of action. This film emphasized more on the emotional aspect rather than straightforward action film like John Wick, for example. And sometimes that could be a letdown because the emotional aspects that are present in this film really takes up a lot of runtime, even though this is an action film, but it doesn't seem like they're focusing enough on the action. But I will move into the first positive thing, and that is the performance given by Joel Kinnaman. And I think this man as our protagonist is really believable enough. And during this film, you are constantly supporting him. You just want this man to succeed, to get his revenge, and when that happens, it is fulfilling. The second positive thing is, of course, the action itself. He doesn't disappoint here, because even though there aren't a lot of action sequences in this film, when some action happens on screen, you can feel the suspense. He presents the action with such realism and a lot of gore as well, because that's his thing, right? So, in the context of this film, the action works. And when the action happens, you feel like you are on the edge of your seat. So, the action is really good here. Now, let's move on to the negative side. The first negative is the pacing. When you're watching this film, you can really feel that some sequences, that some scenes drags on for too long. And that is due to the emotional scenes. There are a lot of emotional scenes sprinkled throughout this film, even though this is marketed to be an action film. And most of the time when the emotional stuff happens, I really just want to get into the point, into the action that this film is known for. And sometimes, most of the time, I didn't get it because this film spends a lot of time doing emotional scenes rather than emphasizing it on the action. And I think that is a really big mistake, because this is just an action film. Make it simple, make it enjoyable, and your job's done here. The second negative thing is this film doesn't include any dialogue whatsoever, because the main character cannot speak. And I'm fine with that concept, but at least make the world surrounding the main character still speaks, because it gives us context. But the film doesn't do that. So this film just, right from the start to the end, doesn't include any dialogue whatsoever. And watching a film without any dialogue feels very weird. So, to conclude my review, I think this is slightly disappointing, because you're hoping for a top-notch action from John Woo, and he really doesn't give that to you here. I was expecting a lot of action sequences. I got a little bit of that towards the third act, and that's it. And that doesn't feel fulfilling for the audience. And I think the emotional aspect takes up a lot of time and takes up a lot of your energy, because you're just going to watch this film just for the action, but it lacks the action I really wanted to like this film even more, but I think the emotional scenes really decreases your enjoyment for this film significantly. So 5.5 out of 10. And if you have seen Silent Night, tell me what you think. Are you happy? Are you disappointed? Tell me everything you feel. Everything you feel about this film. So 5.5 out of 10, and see you on the next video.